Today, we are talking about all the things that we miss about living in Cary since we moved to Holly Springs. So in July of 2022, we left Cary, we moved to Holly Springs. We had lived in Cary for 10 years, and we've been here a little bit now, so we kind of have some idea of the things that we're missing a little bit from not being there any longer.
We were in Cary actually just yesterday, and so much has actually changed in downtown 10 months ago that we left. It was just remarkable how much it changed.
Yeah, it's definitely changed a lot. And, even when we left, there was a little part of me that was a little sad that I wasn't going to get to see that transformation since it was so close. Like, we knew that was all coming. The downtown park had already started renovations. There had been a lot of new construction in the downtown. I said in another video, and I'm just going to say it again because it bears repeating, but there's a lot of people that really don't like the growth in the downtown of Cary. They want to keep it very small towny. And I'm the sort of person, I really actually prefer a small town, but there's something exciting and energetic about seeing something grow and being kind of a part of that. And so, if I could live in 10 different places, I probably would because it's exciting to watch that growth. But anyway, so we're going to talk today about the things that we miss. You start. What do you miss?
All right. Number one, I miss the lack of traffic. Where we lived in Cary was kind of in the northeast segment, and we could really get anywhere without really having to spend much time on a highway. Roads in Cary are wide. They're built for the amount of people that are there. You hardly ever ran into traffic, and certainly not traffic on the way to the grocery store or something like that. And down here in Holly Springs, it's a growing area. The roads are not quite as big and not quite as many of them. And so I'll sit waiting to get out of the subdivision in a way that I never had to in Cary. Yeah. So I miss the lack of traffic.
Yeah, I do too. But there are people that will disagree with that. And I'm sure that which part of Cary you live in really determines whether or not there's a lot of traffic. I think in that kind of near the Cary and Morrisville border, you often see a lot more kind of heading west, especially in kind of late afternoon. You can see some traffic there, but certainly like where we lived, we just never saw traffic. Even going into downtown Cary, downtown Cary can get a little backed up on Academy Street there at times, but it's still nothing. It's nothing that you would call traffic. So that's a good one.
All right, what do you miss?
I miss being close to my favorite grocery store, which may surprise some of you because it's not a super popular grocery store, but I don't know any of you have ever shopped at Lidl, but Lidl's a little German grocery store. I think it's German, it's European. It's a little bit like Aldi, but it's more upscale. And so it's a very beautifully designed store, whereas Aldi kind of can feel a little bit like, what's it called? Aldi can feel like a discount store, like a warehouse. Lidl doesn't feel like that, but the prices are discount. And they also have the fruits and vegetables are always really, really good. And they have really good, high quality products. Lots of organic stuff, lots of grass-fed meats, all kinds of stuff like that. And I was a Whole Foods shopper, a dedicated Whole Foods shopper for many, many years. And Lidl won me over. We stopped shopping at Whole Foods except for like an occasional thing we couldn't find. But for the most part, we became Lidl shoppers, and it was right near our house. But also, there were like 8 grocery stores in a radius around our house, and you could go to anyone within like 6 or 7 minutes. So we had Lidl, we had Harris Teeter, Food Lion, Whole Foods. We do have a lot of shops here. We definitely have. We're like literally across the street from Lowe's Foods. We've got Harris Teeter. We've got Whole Foods is only about 12 minutes from here, so it's not that far, but we don't have Lidl. I just love Lidl so much, and I miss it.
Yeah, we're not hurting for grocery stores here, but we do miss Lidl.
Yeah, and the Aldi's is kind of warehousey. It's not like, it doesn't have those big, beautiful windows where you feel like you have a nice view while you're shopping,
All right, I miss the proximity to downtown Raleigh. It isn't that far. It's 20, 25 minutes from here to get into Raleigh, but there it was 10. And so if I wanted to go visit Pipes by George, kind of on Hillsborough Street in Raleigh, it was a 10-minute drive. If I wanted to head up to Crabtree, it was practically a 10-minute drive. Everything here seems to be at least 25 or 30.
Which 20 or 25.
Which it's not that big of a deal until you're actually sitting there saying, should I go out and do I have the time? And it's just a difference between a trip and a pop-out.
Yeah, a pop-out. Yeah, you can be Yeah, you can be in so many places. Oh, so that's another thing. We were about 6 minutes from the art museum, which I wasn't there all the time, but having it only 6 minutes really did mean that I could just pop out and go. So I did go a lot more frequently than I go now. They have some beautiful trails over there, and it's 25 minutes from where I am now. We went a couple weeks ago for a concert. There was an outdoor concert at the amphitheater, and I hadn't been since we moved, and I was like, oh, it's really nice being so close to this museum because it's just such a beautiful resource to have right there. And again, it's 25 minutes, so you don't pop out and go because it's so far. And by the way, our house that was in East Cary that's 6 minutes from that museum. We haven't yet heard back from the renters if they're going to be upping their lease. And so if anybody's interested in living in that location, if they end up not re-upping the lease, I'll put a link in the comments. But if they don't, then I won't.
Is there anything else we miss about Cary?
What do we miss about Cary? Oh, so malls in general. So he mentioned Crabtree, but really South Point Mall is really the best mall in the whole area. It's a really, really good mall. It has Nordstrom. It has a lot more kind of really nice stores. And it's also just a nicer mall. It's big wide aisles, and it's all decorated like it's a little village or something. So it feels kind of bougie, more so than Crabtree. So it's just a fun place to go. But from Holly Springs, it's 35 minutes. From Cary, it was 25, just because you could hop right on 40 and be there. And so now when we think you want to go to, I don't think I've been to South Point since we moved here.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, and we used to go fairly frequently, but just a 35-minute drive just seems like, that's just too far. But you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
I do miss Umstead.
Yeah.
I mean, Bass Lake Park is wonderful, and it's really great to be able to pop out there in 5 minutes and have a nice evening walk. But for I want to go and get lost in the woods for 2 hours.
There's not a big enough woods here to do that.
Right. You can't beat Umstead for that. And again, where we were, Umstead was like 7.5 minutes from front door to the parking lot. And
constantly bicyclists would pass our house on their way to Umstead. We were just right on that track. The house was right behind SAS in Cary, kind of on North Harrison. We were right backing up to that campus. All right, what else did we miss?
I actually miss the antique stores.
Antique stores?
Yeah.
In Cary?
Yeah, you never went with me because that's not your thing.
No.
But in Cary or there, kind of in West Raleigh, well, there's that one, but there's just in Cary, obviously it's bigger, so you've got a lot more variety. You've got the perfect piece. You've got Peterson's Consigning Designs. You have little stores, that are like crosses. I mean, not that these are crosses between the antique store and the junk store, but they had those. There were the antique stores in West Raleigh, and just to be able to browse and look for kind of interesting things.
And bring junk home.
I'm
glad we're not close to it.
So I miss it.
He had mentioned Umstead Park, but really the truth is where we lived in Cary, there was half a dozen or maybe a dozen parks just all around us. So there was Umstead, there was North Cary, there was Walnut Street Park, there was Bond Park was super close, the downtown park in downtown Cary, and just all kinds of little parks tucked in all over. It didn't matter where you were in Cary, there was probably a half a dozen parks within spitting distance. We do have really good parks here, but there's just not as many. There's a few, there's 3 or 4. There's 4 really good ones. There's Bass Lake, there's
Sug Farm,
Womble, Ting, Jones Park, is Abigail loves that little Jones Park behind the elementary school. If you've got young kids, it's a good playground and easy to contain them. So I guess we do have really good parks. It just seems they're just not quite as big as in Cary. But anyway, they're still good.
These seem to be pretty minor, nitpicky things that we miss.
The last one is North Hills, and again, it's just about location. So we were maybe 10 minutes from North Hills, and so you could super quick just pop over to North Hills and just kind of wander around, and that was just nice to have that option. I mean, we do have other shopping options here, just not quite as nice as North Hills, and again, 25 minutes like everything else, 25 minutes, so you don't pop out as much. So
all right, so like I was saying, these are pretty nitpicky things.
Yeah.
I mean,
would you move back to Cary? So we got a bigger house. We added an extra 500 square feet. It wasn't that much bigger, but we got a little bit more space. We were working from home and it was super tight. And that was the main reason that we decided to move. So if you could take this bigger house and put it in that location, would you move back? Yes, I would.
But to be fair, we left because the house was important enough that the location could take a secondary place.
Right. So, but I don't know. I do really like Holly Springs though. I can't say that I would. I mean, I don't know. I would be torn. I don't know. I hope this was helpful to you if you're thinking about moving to Cary. Those are some things that we've really missed about not being there. If you like this video, you probably will also like this one about prices going kind of crazy in Cary.